Operation Northern Watch. Following the end of the Gulf War in 1991, the eyes of the world remained fixed on Iraq, not only for its defeated army, but for the brutal treatment of its own people. In the north, Saddam Hussein's forces had turned their wrath on the Kurdish population, bombing towns and forcing hundreds of thousands to flee toward the mountains and borders. The United Nations responded with a no-fly zone to protect civilians, and soon after, NATO allies took action. In 1997, Operation Northern Watch officially began, an international air patrol campaign with one clear mission: stop Saddam's air force from attacking the Kurds in northern Iraq. Led primarily by the United States, the United Kingdom, and Turkey, Northern Watch was a continuation of the earlier Operation Provide Comfort. Operating from Incirlik Air Base in southern Turkey, the coalition patrolled Iraqi skies north of the 36th parallel. Any unauthorized Iraqi aircraft entering the zone risked being intercepted or shot down. Though labeled as a monitoring mission, this was no symbolic flyover. Pilots were often engaged by Iraqi radar and anti-aircraft artillery and frequently returned fire. Throughout the operation, U.S. and British aircraft, including F-15s, F-16s, and EA-6B Prowlers, maintained relentless pressure on the Iraqi military. When Iraqi forces lit up radar systems or moved surface-to-air missile batteries near the exclusion zone, coalition aircraft responded with targeted strikes. The operation functioned as a constant chess match in the sky, one where NATO-aligned forces protected civilians not through diplomacy, but by air dominance and the threat of immediate retaliation. Operation Northern Watch had a dual role: protect the Kurdish population and contain Saddam's military capabilities. It also allowed NATO to maintain a foothold in the region, collect intelligence on Iraqi troop movements, and test real-time coordination between U.S. and allied forces in high-tension environments. Though only a few countries officially participated in the mission, NATO infrastructure and strategic doctrine played a vital role in its execution. The political backdrop was equally important. The operation was carried out without a specific United Nations mandate, a point of contention for critics, but one justified by the coalition as necessary to prevent renewed atrocities. For the Kurdish people, Northern Watch was a lifeline, ensuring that Iraq's air force couldn't terrorize them from above and allowing a degree of autonomy to take root in the region, which would later become the foundation for Iraqi Kurdistan. The operation lasted until 2003, ending only with the launch of the Iraq War. By then, coalition aircraft had flown tens of thousands of sorties and weathered years of tense standoffs. No NATO pilot was lost to Iraqi fire, but the threat remained constant, making it one of the most sustained and dangerous peacetime missions in recent military history. Operation Northern Watch proved that air power could be used not just for destruction, but for protection. It was a daily act of deterrence, a quiet war in the skies that prevented a louder war on the ground. It showed that sometimes the best way to stop a regime from committing atrocities isn't to occupy its territory, but to keep its jets grounded. And in the mountains of northern Iraq for nearly a decade, that's exactly what NATO and its allies did.